Welcome. This is Mike Sawyer from New Bedford Guide. We are doing our first show of the LGBTQ Voice. We used to have we were thinking The View and a few other topics. We went with Voice based on your votes. This is a first show of many to come this year. It's our first show of 2018. So we have here is we thought we'd do a roundtable discussion with some of the people that really make the LGBT community organizations work in the area. So we have, to my right, Dan is going to be the future host of the show. I'm here to kind of facilitate the first one. We have Tracy. So Tracy, we kind of came up with this idea of this show, right? So we've done some live streams in the past at the talk about some of the events that happened, and we got together and talked about it, right?
Definitely.
So it's something that we want to do, and we want your comments out there. If you have any questions, anyone here, we'll answer them either tonight or we'll post a comment later on. You can email lgbtq@newbedfordguide.com if you have a question as well. And go ahead and share this article, this video out there so we can get this going, get a lot of people out here. So Dan, why don't you go and do your thing?
All right. So we have, pull up the notes. So I wanted to go over what LGBTQ actually means. A lot of people are kind of confused, and I know a majority of the people who are part of the New Bedford Guide probably don't know this, or may be curious, or just want to learn a little bit more about the lingo. So L stands for lesbian. That's pretty easy. G is gay. B is the next one. It's bisexual. T is for transgender, and Q stands for either queer or questioning. Depends on if you're from the 90s or not. But there are a lot more umbrella terms. The terms are expanding every day. So I do recommend kind of going through and finding a comprehensive list on your own. But I think we could probably find one, and I can probably shoot it to Mike, and then you can probably post it up if need be.
Yeah, post in the comments.
Yeah. So we have a few organizations here representing us in New Bedford. And we have first is Joan Stratton. Or Joni. Do you prefer Joni?
I use either.
Okay. I've already met you 3 times now, so I'm going to call you Joni, if that's all right. So Joni, you represent Pride Cafe. And
right.
So what is Pride Cafe? I know I remember seeing it when I was a few years younger, but...
Well, it used to be that the only place gay and lesbian or trans people had to go where they could communicate, feel safe, was in a gay bar.
Mhm.
And so we started Pride Cafe as a non-alcohol and drug-free place where people could meet. And we generally meet once a week at the Perfect Place, which is about 484 Pleasant Street.
Yes.
And every Monday now. We used to meet at the Unitarian Church on the first and third Mondays. But we had trouble getting people because people could never remember what nights we were having it on, which Monday was where we were going. So we finally, once we got the place at a Perfect Place going and we had extra days, we decided let's do it every week. So now we do it there every week. We do movies some nights, we do discussions, we do game nights, play some kinds of games. Whatever the people that are attending really want to do. It's not, there's no structure, there is a structure sometimes, the moderator might come in with his own ideas. But generally if the attendees want to do something different, then we'll switch it up.
And so it was Mondays at what time again?
7 to 9.
7 to 9. And is there an age limit or an age cap? Or
We're 18 plus.
18 plus? Okay. All right. And so next up, we also have next to you, Anne.
Hi.
You represent the Supper Club, the LGBTQ Supper Club.
Right, and that's at the Fairhaven Council on Aging. I'm the
Okay.
director there.
Oh, good.
And we've been meeting at the Fairhaven Council on Aging on the third Wednesday, the fourth Wednesday of the month, the fourth Wednesday from 5 to 7, for 5 years. It will be 5 years in June. As a COA director, and I can speak for all the COA directors, I'm sure, we look for unmet needs in the community. And I happen to be at in service at Coastline, and Lisa Lipinski from the Fenway Project up in Boston was the guest speaker, and she was just trying to, put some information out there for Coastline employees about the LGBT population in this area and, what's the unmet need here? And she threw us a picture of like a map of Massachusetts, and on that map were little red dots where 60 and over LGBT cafes were in existence. And I looked at it and thought, jeepers, it was, the Boston area had gazillions.
Probably.
The western part of Massachusetts had a few. There were 2 on the Cape and nothing on the South Coast, nothing 60 and over on the South Coast. So I pulled Paula Shiner aside after that in-service and said, would you Coastline support me if we did an LGBT supper club, structured it like my single senior supper club, which is a group that meets singles, widowed and single folks. Not necessarily LGBT, they may be, but, so of course Coastline is on board with any ideas any COA wants to do, they're fabulous. So they provided the food, and we did a gay pride cookout in June. This is going back 5 years now. It was fabulous, we had 45 people. Lisa said, if you get 6 or 8 people, consider it successful. So we were thrilled. And then every month after that, we kept the ball rolling. We were very fortunate to get a beautiful grant from the Lipsky Whitaker Foundation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that.
And that carried us for a few years. We were able to do community outings. They went to Salem, they went to the carnival in P-Town, I think they went to Newport. We were able to do some nice parties at the senior center, Valentine's party and a dance, and then we did a paint night through the grant. So on average now, I have between 20 and 30 folks that show up for supper club. We usually have a guest speaker or some type of event, like maybe a meditation session or Reiki or something like Joan comes, right?
Joni comes
So-
too.
How'd my
So
age?
Joni comes, yeah. Joni's, I just let that out of the bag. But it's been really wonderful for me because I've made a lot of wonderful friends, really great people.
So I'm gonna, before we go to the next, this is very interactive, so people are posting comments.
Nice.
So Tyler has a big fan club.
Yeah, there's a I Heart Tyler club
Oh.
going on right now.
Thanks. I don't know.
So you have, let's see, we have Tyler LaJoy, is that Elaine Cabral, saying
Yep.
hi Tyler.
Friends and family.
Yes, we have a
Oh,
few
so
people.
that's a family. Okay, so they're familiar. That's
Yep.
good. Nice, great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for that, Ann.
If anyone has any questions, wants to know anything about this LGBTQ supper club, give me a call at the Fairhaven Senior Center. I'd love to talk to you. Any information that
Is
you...
it something that like volunteers are needed at all, or is it more of like?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Actually now, the residents at Citadel Assisted Living, they volunteer every month and provide the meal.
Okay.
But otherwise, there's really no volunteers. The folks that come to the supper club, they kind of do their own thing and serve themselves, and it's really laid back and very social. I think one of the most beautiful things about this group is that when it first started, nobody knew each other. Nobody knew each other, and you could see this group evolve, and they started doing things on the outside together, not just at the group, at the supper club. They were doing potluck suppers at each other's houses. They were going bowling, they were going to the movies, they were going to plays. So I just think that's really cool that, it initiated as a group at the senior center and blossomed into really nice friendships.
That's really great. Yeah. I think especially in being in the South Coast and being LGBTQ, we feel a little isolated. So like, and I imagine being older and even feeling more isolated, and being able to actually make connections like that. That's actually really powerful. Next up, we also have John from the South Coast LGBTQ Network. Oh wait, oh he's representing. Oh, NB-AGLY. Okay. So many hats. So like one key thing is that we are often in so many hats, like in so many parts of each other, that it's like, wait, which one are you today? Like, you're NB-AGLY today?
I actually am on both of them.
Yes,
Today,
exactly,
I'm
that's
here
why,
to talk
okay.
about NB-AGLY.
Okay, great.
NB-AGLY stands for the New Bedford Alliance for Gay and Lesbian Youth. It is one of the AGLY networks. The AGLY network is a network of alliances for gay and lesbian youth throughout Massachusetts, funded by the Department of Public Health, with the primary goal of reducing the HIV infection rate among youth in Massachusetts. The youth that come to our groups, we're open for any youth between 14 and 24 years of age. Currently, we meet on Thursday evenings from 5 to 7. The way that we would describe NB-AGLY is that it is youth-driven, peer-led, and adult-supported or adult-advised. And so if I sort of work backwards from that, there are 4 of us who are adult advisors. Myself, Tracy, who also wears multiple hats, Eileen and Dave, and the 4 of us basically are responsible for sort of keeping it going, so to speak. We then hire and train peer leaders, and peer leaders are, again, youth between the ages of 14 and 24, who have demonstrated an ability to really take a leadership role with youth. And so we train them. They go on a quarterly basis to AGLY network meetings where they get additional training. And then they run the meetings or they facilitate the meetings. And then finally, it's youth-driven, meaning that the youth who attend the meetings pretty much make the decisions. It's their call what happens. And so for example, the space that we have that Joni had referred to as A Perfect Place, that actually was named by the youth, and they chose that because it was a perfect place for perfect people to be in. And so that's how that name came about. We have been in existence for 7 years. Our numbers over that time have gone up and down. There are, at our height, we were opened 3 evenings a week, and had anywhere between 25 and 30 youth attending each week. And at that point in time, we had, one night we were open for yoga. We had somebody come in, Jeff Costa, came in and did yoga for the youth for one evening. Then we had our normal Thursday evening, which is more of an informative, educational group for the youth. And then we were open on Friday evenings, which was more social, movie nights, game nights. Currently, we are only open on Thursday nights for the sort of educational piece, but we're talking about, and we're in the process of opening 2 additional nights. One night for youth to come in and be tutored to help them out with schoolwork, and then another night to do a series of groups really focused on, it's a set program on helping youth become more independent. And so that's kind of where we're at this point in time.
First Fridays is coming up. First Fridays.
Yes.
So we'll be open First Fridays coming up. It'll be peer-led with youth and without the adult support. So every first Friday, there'll be a get-together and a gathering at the center.
And that will be more of the social
Yes.
piece
No
that
agenda.
we had been doing
Correct.
weekly on Fridays in the past, and we're going to start out doing it once a month now. See how that goes.
So, fun fact, John, I was one of the original NB-AGLY kids when I was younger. Me, Jason DeMello, a few other people, and whatnot, we all hung out, and it was great. I remember NB-AGLY when I was a kid, and I appreciate that it's still around. And then we have Tyler from Project Yes.
Hello.
Do you want to say your full name, or because your name's not on my little cheat sheet here? Do you want to say your full name?
Yeah, my name's Tyler Pont. I work for Project Yes through Seven Hills Behavioral Health. We stand for Youth Empowerment South Coast, and we work with, similar to NB-AGLY, we work with kids 13 to 24. So youth, young adult, you can't lump them all together because 13 and 24 doesn't mix. But what we do is we're a very proactive program throughout the community, as opposed to responding to behaviors and things like that. We try to attack them before they happen. So what we do is we run like group sessions, one-on-one sessions, things like that, about safe sex, healthy relationships, drug and substance abuse, setting goals and values, emotional management, and then we have the one-on-one sessions for anyone who's not comfortable saying or speaking for themselves in like the group setting. Right now we work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at 1177 Acushnet Avenue, Bedford, and 314 South Main Street, I believe, in Fall River on Thursdays. We do a whole bunch of different events. We did a big tie-dye event over the summer, like an end of the summer kind of thing. Kids tie-dyed shirts. We did like giant Jenga, just a whole bunch of things to keep them involved as opposed to just sitting there and like teaching them. We keep it fun. I myself am one of the educators, so I try not to make it very schoolroom setting because I don't know, they're fun topics to talk about, so they shouldn't be very militant.
What got you into this kind of work, by the way? Because it is not different, but like...
It's actually, I can give you like the quick version of the story. My lifelong best friend works for the Bold Coalition in Fall River. And when I wasn't working for Seven Hills, Project Yes had approached Bold, and my best friend was like, hey, like you should participate in this with me. And we actually were clients through the program before, and then one of the educators was stepping back and reducing his hours, and they offered me a position with the program, so I love it.
I think that's typically how it's going, is that as, you know, people are moving away from it or stepping back, like the younger kids that we also participated in this stuff are like stepping in.
It's a good wheel that keeps on rolling.
And Tracy.
Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Pretty good. How are you? Good. So, Tracy's from the South Coast LGBTQ Network,
Yes.
and what do you want to tell me about it?
Sure, so we formed about 3 years ago. Money was running out from a fund called Lucy Whitaker. Two gentlemen had passed away and had a boatload of money, and the money is slowly but surely dissipating. So some people in our community said, why don't we form a network, get together? And right now we have 11 organizations that formed, and we do things to let people know what's going on in the community. We've done a decade of marriage equality in 2014, puzzles, 10-year commemoration vigil in February. Unfortunately, the Pulse Vigil partnership with the mayor and WBSM in June of 2016. We had Pride in Buttonwood Park. Outside that was our first Pride out in the park, which is terrific. We have our next Pride set for June 2nd. We just kind of got together, helping each other out. So the Women's Center was going for grants and realized it was a Comcast grant, and Comcast said they were doing LGBTQ. So the Women's Center sent it to NB-AGLY and said, hey, listen, they're doing a grant. So basically the Women's Center wrote us a grant, and we got $5,000 for the youth center. So that's like one of the biggest keys of everybody helping each other out in the organization. So we kind of got together as a group saying, well, what happens if the money runs out? And to kind of keep each other going. And that's how we met, and through the Supper Club. And Joni I've known when I was on South Coast Equality, and when I was on South Coast Equality, that's how I found out about NB-AGLY, about networking and keeping everybody in tune with what's going on in our community right now.
So is it fair to say that like South Coast LGBTQ Network is kind of like the umbrella that keeps all these little family members, as I call them, all the groups, little family members, like together in a way? Like, because like I know on the calendar page on the South Coast LGBTQ Network has listing for everything, I
Yeah.
think, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great, you know, when we first formed the network, we actually met with the seniors from the senior center and talked about the umbrella. If you look at our logo, it's a rainbow umbrella, and we had, you know, a great conversation with our youth and our seniors about the letter Q, which is queer and questioning. We talked about, you know, the seniors didn't like the word Q because it reminded them of, I hate saying it, the N-word that's used today. And our youth were like, well, the Q is queer and empowering, so the Q was actually on the umbrella. So we worked together, we got our bylaws together, we sat down together as a group, did it within a month, had our bylaws, and we went going. We actually just, hopefully, January and February will be our 501c3 status. We'll be able to get more grants, more funding for LGBTQ community.
So let me jump in on that,
Sure.
this part of it. So priorities for 2018, we can go back, go the reverse direction.
Yeah.
So is funding the biggest thing for everyone?
Funding and transportation,
And transportation,
Yeah.
like just to get to all these locations?
to get to, correct.
Because if you do think about it, youth probably don't have a car because they're not making car payments. I mean, my allowance when I was 16 was not covering car payment.
Yeah.
And also, too, it's very cold, and for elderly, it's very much a hassle to travel in the cold weather.
And the buses stop at a certain time.
Exactly.
So what, our NB-AGLY ends at 7, the youth have to leave before 7 to get that next bus to go back home, go down the street.
Okay, so,
And funding is huge,
and we talked about this
Oh,
too,
yeah.
like the youth numbers are kind of low, but,
they are.
and part of it is they don't know you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been,
So
well,
let's just go over the location,
double hats, 484 Pleasant Street for.
and where's that
NB-AGLY.
near?
Right across from the charter school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so right across from the charter school, right near Boutique Fitness,
Yeah.
you know, the Thai restaurant that's
Yeah.
downtown, so it's
Specified,
downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty, if you can get downtown, you can get over it pretty quickly.
Definitely.
You might freeze to death in the walks like
oh,
tonight.
yeah. But yeah, especially now, when we were waiting outside, waiting for Mike to come get us, we're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, let us in.
So what's your objectives for 2018? What's the number one priority?
Sure, outreach right now for us, so.
Which is this show is gonna
Yeah,
accomplish?
this is terrific, and thank you, Mike hit me up, so Mike and I have been producing this show, trying to get everybody geared up to where we wanna be. But we're doing outreach in January. February, we're hoping to start the tutoring, it'll be Wednesdays at 4:15 to 5:45. Thursdays is our educational night from 5 to 7 at NB-AGLY, and First Friday's coming up. And just to kind of get without adult support, as you want to call it, because sometimes the kids are a little bit more free and want to hang out there. But for the network, we actually, hopefully, in March 24th, we'll have a health fair. And then we have Pride scheduled for June 2nd, Pride in the Park again. We actually just had last week, All I Want for Holidays is the Equality event. And we actually in October had a National Coming Out Day event. So each month or every few months, we try and do an event and get people informed of what's going on in and around our community.
Just so you know, Tracy, Dennis Wong says hello.
Hi, Dennis.
He's
sent
gonna
us-
tune in next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Marie asked a question, good point.
Yeah.
And something you learn in broadcast is to, people just tune in, not always from the beginning. So what's
Yeah.
this show about? So this is the LGBTQ voice, not the view. We
Yeah.
always get tied on the
Yeah,
view.
Yeah.
it was either the talk, the view, or the
Yeah.
voice.
So this is the voice. So
Yeah.
this is, right
The
now,
voice.
tonight's our intro show, and this is to introduce the community, the organizers that actually make up most of the strength of the LGBTQ network.
Yeah.
We're educating. The show is gonna be every week. So every week,
Different topics,
yep,
Yeah.
Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Tune in exactly. We're trying to get on time at 7 o'clock. Hope to bring some great topics. What are some of the topics, Tracy?
Sure,
coming
yeah,
forward?
we have Planned Parenthood coming up. We have a couple of lesbians who have their own children, and we're gonna talk about that aspect, as well as we have a surrogate mother that's gonna be on the show, that she had a baby for 2 gay gentlemen. We have parents of LGBTQ youth. We also have 2 youth and 2 seniors coming together, and they're gonna answer
Yes.
questions out of a hat, like what
That's
is...
next week's show, yeah.
Yes, next week's show. What does the word Q mean, Q or queer questioning mean to you? That's probably gonna be one of them. Hopefully we won't pick it out of the
Be
hat.
some generational gap.
Yeah, there's gonna be a
stuff.
show on homelessness, mental health, coming out stories, bullying, abuse. There's gonna be some heavy topics, some fun topics. Incognito's been doing a drag show, once a
Nobody
month.
gets that.
So we're gonna be having a drag show, I think we already did it, it'll be the 3rd month coming in. We
Yeah.
already started doing more programming. There's a lot going on in the community that people just aren't aware about,
Mm-hmm.
that we just want people to know what's going on.
So Stuart asked a question. I didn't get it in the beginning, and you reposted it.
Yeah,
And it's something everyone in here has, I'm sure, experienced some kind of hate,
yes.
right?
Mhm.
I think Massachusetts, you probably have less hate than, say, I won't push other states, but
Yeah.
have any of you dealt with, and he's asking white supremacy hate, but any hate at all? Can you, when we ask anyone in here want to share a recent story or some story that really affected your life in a negative way?
Well,
It could be
for me,
Jan,
I worked for Berean in Cape Cod for 13 years, and I came out. And as soon as I came out, I was harassed.
When was this?
My Burger King days,
Yeah.
25, 30, 27 years
Okay.
ago-ish.
So that was,
But even then, you know,
Yeah.
coming out, telling my husband at the time, and then my job, and I got harassed. I stayed for 2 years trying to make it work, because I already put 13 years in, and I had to quit my job.
anyone else want to have a, Tyler?
I actually was in a similar predicament. I used to work for a manufacturing company, and I was out at the time when I started the job. I didn't hide it, you know, talk at the lunch table, you know, the straight men would talk about their relationships, I would talk about mine, like, until it started becoming, this is a straight man's work environment, like, you don't belong here. And I eventually ended up leaving, and here I am now.
Specifically to Stuart's comment about white supremacy hate, I believe, you know, statistically and proven wise has shown, the severely maligned, marginalized peoples in LGBTQ groups is typically LGBTQ people of color. My background, I'm mixed, so I have a dad who's mixed race, and I have my mom who's white Portuguese. So I grew up in a very different, diverse world. My earliest experience of probably that, like white supremacist hating homophobia or whatnot, is probably when I was in college, and I was out Western Mass. So of the 5 college area, I'm not going to specifically name it, there are active white supremacists there. And I was with a group of myself and a few other trans women, and there was a trans woman of color with us, and they readily identified us as queer and trans, and you know, I had to get into fisticuffs with that, and it was a matter of kind of survival, because it was in the middle of the woods, or like, well, my housing situation, like, you had to go up a hill, and it was pretty much forest. So, like, and no one else was around. The nearest emergency phone box was probably, you know, 3 miles down the hill. And it's a very scary situation. And it's not, you know, it's there, but I don't think we have had to recently deal with it very upfront here in New Bedford, and I'm hoping it stays that way.
Ditto.
Anyone else?
When we first started the senior group, people wanted to know more about each other, and they kind of did a round table and told their stories, and it was amazing, some of the hurt that these people have gone through and come out of it so successful, and it blows my mind that in the day, and we're talking 40 years ago, how cruel they were treated. I actually have a married couple who had to leave their neighborhood and move to another neighborhood because they were so badly harassed. They, not only for being gay, but they had 3 adopted black children. And that, it was just horrendous, the way they were treated.
So on a positive note, do you see like the progression has been better? Are you hopeful for 2018?
I can tell you honestly, when I started this group, I did go to my selectmen. I said, I want to, you know, I want to do this. This is going to be awesome. We're going to have a great group here. And they said, if you get this much negative, come see, direct it to us. Don't try to deal with it. Just direct it to the selectmen. And we've never had one single issue.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of add, when we had the Pulse incidents that happened last year, we had our Pride right afterwards. We had the after party at La Place, which is our local gay bar. The police actually, every time we weren't on a call, actually sat on the cruiser right out the bar all night long to make sure we were safe.
That's
know,
the New Bedford Police
That's
Officer.
New Bedford Police, you know, I mean, they've been so amazing to us, or that's how I feel, that's my point of view for our
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, I would say without question, things are significantly better than they were. As an older gay man, there are certainly a lot of incidents that I've had to deal with. Probably one when you talk about the police, and again, this was many, many years ago, when I was involved with the North Shore Gay Alliance. We as a group wanted to have a meeting with the chief of police up in Lynn, and I had called the police department to request a meeting. I explained that I was a member of the North Shore Gay Alliance, and we wanted a meeting with the chief of police, and I could hear the person I spoke with say, "Some faggot from some queer group wants a meeting with you." And it actually was perfect, because then when the chief came on, I could say, you know,
So this
my
is
name is
some-
John Masson, now some faggot from a queer group called the North Shore Gay Alliance, and we want to have a meeting to talk about why our members don't feel supported by your police officers. And so we did get a meeting, and so, but clearly, things have changed dramatically over the last so many years.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Quick, two comments really. Marie Moriarty, Poogie, do you want to say your do you have a South Coast LGBTQ Network email? Because she's actually a lesbian parent
Yeah, we'll
who would
post it.
like to
Oh, that'd
talk.
be great.
So
Yeah, you can be Tracy at sclgbtqnetwork.org,
okay, and
TRECI.
Marie, also, the events are, if you actually go Google, and also the website is going to be posted, the South Coast LGBTQ Network, the calendar there, I think it's, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see the calendar. And there's a list of events like that we're talking about here, like, so, the supper is on there, Pride Cafe is on there, and Project Yes is also on there as well.
And we got some good comments. So very happy to see this and thrilled to see more advertising on these local groups. That's Lisa Spear. And Marie just says, you know, I'm an outpatient mental health counselor right in New Bedford, and as well as a lesbian parent of 2 children.
Oh,
Please
great.
feel free to contact me. So this is gonna help get some volunteers and I think
definitely.
into their thing.
Yeah, because we have so many topics, Mike and I have been working behind the scenes, we have a lot of topics, and trying to get some people to come out and actually want to be in front of the camera's eye and talk about it is what the struggle has been. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in and helping out, definitely.
And we did have a question about, so again, ourselves as Joni, want to wave?
We'll start the
Yeah.
red sweater and go.
Joni, and then we have Anne, and then we have John, Tyler, Tracy, and myself, Dan. I'm going to be the host for the show.
Yep, and the groups are all in the description that we posted today.
Yep.
So we'll just do a few more real quick on the objectives. How's
Yeah.
2018 looking? I think we finished with Tyler, or
Yeah.
we?
No, we didn't finish with Tyler. Tyler, what are the objectives of like Project Yes for this upcoming fiscal year?
Very similar to Tracy. We're still trying to get our name out there. We were struggling with like design ideas, logo design, things like that for a while. We had a great graphic designer with us for a while. She's no longer with us. She didn't pass away. She moved to
Okay,
New York.
I immediately went to she died.
No,
So-
she didn't die. She did an amazing job in New York. So proud of her. She did an amazing job designing our logos, all of our flyers. We do bookmarks for when we drop off materials at libraries, things like that. But this year, our focus is definitely getting our name out there. We work with people all over Bristol County, so we're going from Attleboro to Wareham, spreading our name.
And we'll push the websites in the comments later on, and I think, are all the websites linked on the South Coast?
They
now?
should be.
Yeah,
I
so we'll
believe
put
they
that
are.
out there. And if, Sean, if you can move the mic a little bit closer to you for your part.
Sure.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Tracy mentioned earlier that our goal really is getting the word out for NB-AGLY. A lot of youth are not aware of us. They don't know that we exist. Our plan, starting in January, it's already January,
We're here. We're here.
is to have a youth and an adult go into all of the local gay straight alliances in the high schools and the middle schools, if they have gay straight alliances, and talk a bit about NB-AGLY and just talk about what we're doing. For any youth who are interested in finding us, we do have a Facebook page. It is NB-AGLY, A Perfect Place. So youth can go on. That's only available for youth, though, again, between 14 and 24. If you are an adult and an ally, we also have a Facebook page, NB-AGLY, Allies of a Perfect Place. So you can feel free to go on that.
Because I think it's
We're
also,
posting both in there right now, so if you want to go join the Facebook page.
yeah, and like not all of us here are of LGBTQ thing. Allies do have a place within our organizations, and they're just as necessary to get the ball rolling and whatnot. And it brings us to Anne.
I'm gonna ditto that, John. I'd like to see, my group expand, get the word out. And I'd also love to do some intergenerational stuff,
Oh yeah,
Tyler.
yeah,
You know,
that'd be fun.
maybe,
I would love to do oral histories with the older generation here in New Bedford. I'm a historian, so that's my thing.
well, my
And,
group is a good place to start,
exactly,
because
yeah.
you'll get some stories.
It may
And
not all be true.
so, gay old wives' tales. And Joni.
Yeah, well, again, we just want to increase attendance, get more people coming, because the more people are there, the better the groups are. And at the moment, it leans pretty heavily transgender, but it would be better if it was more of a mixed group, because it really
Yeah.
is designed to be LGBT,
Yeah,
not just T.
yeah.
And we're not that scary.
No, we're not that scary.
Yep. And you're at a perfect place. One thing I wanted to say is the start of a community center, which our community doesn't have right now. So we're hoping to do that, get the tutoring, do the first Fridays, and we're meeting this Thursday. We have our monthly meeting to do a little bit more, and hopefully the next show we come back, we'll be able to tell you about it. We want to make sure that, we're on board with where we're going. But it's the start of a community center. The only thing, it's not handicap accessible. So that's the only thing that I really don't like about it. We don't have a full working kitchen. We have a microwave, we have a coffee pot, and we have a fridge, and we have a counter. So slowly but surely, each step by step. But now Pride Cafe has a spot every Monday
So all these groups sound wonderful. How much are they? They must be expensive.
to go
to
to
go in
come
and walk
in.
in, yeah.
Would you believe it's free?
Oh,
It's
wow.
Yes,
Free.
it is. Yeah.
Absolutely no
Yep.
charge.
Yeah,
That's the
we get,
key,
yeah, we
right?
got grants, we
Yeah.
got some funding, so there's extra money out there.
Actually, Project Yes participants, we offer incentives for participating. If you complete the program, you end up with $60 in gift cards. And we have gift cards from anything from Chipotle to Amazon, Domino's, all that fun stuff.
So Tyler will bribe you to come on out.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, how old do you have to be to do this?
24.
Oh, I'm 28, so I'm an old gay now. So,
You're not a young adult anymore,
No.
according to
according
community
according
standards.
to community standards now.
Over the hill.
So we are having kind of a cool event, something that I'm actually part of planning, so that's kind of cool. And to toot my own horn. So a lot of members of the community are actually gathering up together to do an LGBTQ winter film series about LGBTQ topics. And it's actually going to be held at the New Bedford Whaling National Historical Park on 33 William. And it's going to be in the theater there. We're going to start our first, so it's once a month, every film. We're going to have I Am Not Your Negro. It's a story about James Baldwin. It's going to be Sunday, the 28th of January from 2 to 5. So it's going to be a film, and then we're going to have like a community discussion afterwards. And it's open to the public, bring your friends, family. Kids might not really appreciate it because it's kind of a long film and kind of adult themes, so that's typical. But if you are comfortable with your kids being exposed to that, then go ahead.
And this is located, so the historic park is visitor center right across from Freestone's restaurant.
Yep.
So Sunday, the 28th, just want to
Yep.
reinforce so people hear that.
And the network is one of the sponsors.
Yep. And
Plug.
yeah.
And that's good. And is that something that's every month?
We're gonna do it, so far we have it planned from January to, I believe March is the last one.
So
I
next
believe.
three,
So next few months.
4 months, yeah.
Oh yeah, 4 months, because April I think is one listed on there.
Because it's a winter.
It's a winter,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Well,
April,
who knows? Winter it could be.
I know, winter could be all the way to May
Yeah.
or June again.
Winter is coming.
Yes, it is.
So we got some more comments. Marie says awesome. Connie says, this is awesome, thank you for putting this together, education
Thank
is
you,
power.
Connie, for tuning in.
So there's a lot of comments we'll get to, after the show's over. So you can email lgbtq@newbedfordguide.com.
Yeah.
And that we'll make sure that the messages are through, or, post a comment on there. So next week, why don't you both talk about what we're gonna do next week?
Oh, just a quick note about the email thing.
Yep.
So if you have a question and you don't want us to use your real name or whatever, just let us know in the email, because
Confidential.
confidentiality, just a little secret something.
Yeah,
you
so
know.
the idea of
But-
this is if you have a question that,
Yeah.
or you want a topic you want us to cover,
Yeah.
if you email, Dan will go through them, and then we'll have stuff we wanna do like the mailbag at the end of
Yeah.
some of the shows.
Yeah, we want to answer your questions, we want to
So you
have
can do it anonymously, we
Yeah.
won't
Yeah.
use your name unless
and
you
each week we want to kind of do like, did you know
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
section, because a lot of people don't know what's going on.
And if you wanna come on the show, you can email too, and if you
Yeah.
have certain points and we wanna
Email
bring
us.
you on, that's fine. So email, so now we'll preview next week.
Yeah, next week's.
Yeah, definitely, we have.
Tuesday at 7:00.
Yeah, we have 2 youth from our youth group, NB-AGLY. We have 2 seniors that are actually from and Supper Club. We just saw how cool it would be that we get the 4 together with Dan, and they'll just pick questions out of a hat. And to get the different perspective from youth and seniors, because there's a vast variety of similarities and differences between youth and seniors.
Yeah, so if you have one of the topics you wanna get discussed, you can email,
Yeah,
post, don't post a comment because they're all gonna see it. So send us an
Yeah.
email and Dan will go through them and we'll try to.
yeah, because we're still
post
coming up with the questions.
The
for-
guests
for
won't
next week.
know what the
Correct.
topics are
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yeah, this week they don't know. Some they may, but this week they don't.
Yeah, and it might be some fun if, what word means to someone who was born in the 70s compared to
Yeah.
born in the 90s, gonna be two different things, right?
Yeah, like we talked about it earlier, that the word queer means 2 different things, so I'd like to kind of put that in there, and maybe it'll get picked, maybe it won't. But yeah, we got some great topics coming up, and thank you so much for the opportunity for the network to be a part of this.
Yep.
It's been a great experience for us.
And you got some end business stuff for us, Mike?
Yeah, so this is a show we're gonna do every week. We hope it's gonna last for centuries, right?
Yeah.
We'll be. So the idea of that though is we need sponsorship. So if you want this show to last and keep going, we have sponsorship opportunities out there as cheap as $100 to hire. We can read your business in between some of the segments. We can play your videos. We can do those kind of things. We want the show to last. We donate much of the proceeds to the network so they can use the money for things like this. Have a nice free space for people to go to watch movies, those kind of things. So you can email leo@newbedfordguide.com, or you can just send it to the LGBTQ, or really anything at New Bedford Guide, and I'll get it. We really need the sponsors. We need people
Yeah.
to make this happen. And I think it's an exciting show. We're gonna have some nice topics. And we hope to do this all the way through. And we just had a great start to the new year.
Yeah.
Yes.
First show of the year for New Bedford Guide, and we hope to get this rolling pretty strong. So
And the ads will be read by yours truly in my smooth, sultry tone. So.
yeah. So any closing comments anyone want to have?
Thank you again for you guys coming. One of the biggest fears was like, who's going to want to be on camera? But thank you.
Well, thank you for giving us this opportunity.
One last thing, I don't think I gave a contact,
Oh,
an email or
yeah.
anything the entire time because I'm the worst.
So your
Um,
fan club can reach you at
Absolutely, you can email me at tpont, that's TPONTE, at 7hills.org, or tpprojectyes@gmail.com.
TP. Yeah. I'm 12.
Me too.
That's all right.
All right. Well, thanks for coming tonight, and tune in next week, Tuesday at 7:00.
Yep.
Next week we'll also have a job show before this show at 5:00. So we're going to help get people back to work. We're hoping to interview someone who is unemployed, do a resume review, and actually get them hired live. Be kind of a cool show while we review some of the jobs in the South Coast. Wednesday at 7:00 we do the South Coast Health Show. Great show. Every week we cover some kind of health thing, from weight loss surgery to those kind of things. Thursday, Christie's ND show at 7:00. Great show. Talk more politics, that kind of stuff. In the future, we're going to have nightly news, hopefully Mayor Mitchell on weekly, those kind of things. So stay tuned for a great 2018 for New Bedford Guide. Thanks again for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys for
Have a
watching.
good one, guys.